From the Detroit Free Press, it's Monday, July 27th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bush's.com/join our team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join our team.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kerry Jr. II. The State Health Department reports 1,041 new cases and 0 deaths. However, Sunday's numbers contain cases from Saturday's count that were backlogged due to messaging system issues. In total, there are nearly 78,000 cases and over 6,100 deaths statewide. University of Michigan team athletics announced 13 positive cases last week. 12 Michigan athletes and 1 staff member tested positive for COVID-19 Thursday. The university has tested 559 student athletes and 170 staff members. The school will not disclose the names of the players and staff members that tested positive or the sports teams they're from. U of M football, men's basketball, and women's basketball teams returned to campus mid-June for voluntary workouts. And on Friday, the football team began enhanced summer access. It's 20-hour weeks of trainings, meetings, and walkthroughs that require larger gatherings. The latest round of COVID-19 testing took place July 20th through the 21st. Michigan State has taken a more cautious approach. The university announced 1 athlete and a 2nd staff member tested positive for the coronavirus. The school has tested 402 student athletes and 104 staff members. As a result, the entire football team were quarantined for 14 days. The school previously tested 402 student athletes and 7 were confirmed positive as of July 17th. MSU was on schedule to start 20-hour weeks of training where players would gather in large groups. The school said players must be tested again before participating in workouts. Prisons have been hotspots for the spread of the coronavirus. The Michigan Department of Corrections tested prisoners starting in March, and officials want to continue to keep track of the virus by implementing additional testing procedures. Reporter Andy Jackson has more details. Thanks, Andy, for talking to me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Kerry.
When did they start mass testing, and what were the results of that?
Sure. So to give you some background, the Department of Corrections started testing prisoners who had symptoms of the coronavirus back in March. But they didn't begin mass testing at certain facilities until late April, and that started with facilities where they had a lot of outbreaks, and so they decided to test all the prisoners in those facilities in case there were prisoners among the population who were positive but weren't showing symptoms. And then they eventually expanded their testing in May to test all the prisoners across the whole system. And they have tested 37,192 prisoners, and the results show that 10% of prisoners have had the coronavirus, or have tested positive rather, and so that's a little more than 3,871 people to be exact.
How many people have died from the coronavirus that were in prison?
Yeah, so 68 prisoners have died of the coronavirus.
How many prisoners currently have the coronavirus?
Yeah, so the Michigan Department of Corrections says that there are 11 active cases of the coronavirus among their prisoners, and that is as of Wednesday.
How many employees volunteered to get tested, and how many are confirmed to have the virus?
Throughout about a staff of about 12,000 people, 398 staff have tested positive.
How many staff members have died of the disease?
So 3 staff members have died of COVID-19.
What are officials planning to do to retest prisoners?
Yeah, so the Department of Corrections says that they're continuing to test prisoners who have symptoms of COVID-19. They're also testing prisoners who come into the system from county jails. They're testing prisoners who move from one prison to another prison. They're testing prisoners who leave a prison for a day or so to go out into the community to a hospital. When it comes to mass testing, they say that they will continue mass testing if there are cases that pop up. For example, there was one prison that had, I believe, 3 or 4 staff cases, and in that case, the department decided to retest all the prisoners at that prison.
Thank you so much, Angie, for talking with me today. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much, Kerry. I appreciate it.
That's the latest. For more information on COVID-19 in Michigan, visit www.freep.com.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, and a look ahead to Tigers opening day. What is usually a chilly, unofficial holiday in this state in early April has turned into a bizarro Monday night game in late July. The Tigers host the Royals for the first of 4 games tonight, but as you may know by now, nothing this year is normal. and that includes baseball. Let us count the ways. First off, there will be no fans at Comerica Park, and you'll be hard-pressed to find any of the usual hoopla associated with home openers downtown. You can still watch and listen to the game like normal, but the sounds of the game will be amplified with the lack of crowd. Oh, and here's another sign things aren't normal. The Tigers are in first place after winning 2 of their first 3 games of the season in Cincinnati. First pitch tonight is at 7:10 p.m.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.